guys, and warm welcome back to the channel. My name's Grace if you're new here, and this is the Rusty Thicket. We're going to jump right in today because I've got some great watercolors for you. I let my Cricut draw out and cut all of my newer pieces of watercolor paper because it's easier on me, especially when it's ovals like this. So I'm just getting that set up so that the Cricut will print those out. I've showed you guys a little while back the plaques I'm going to be putting these watercolors on today. I did find them thrifting when I was in North Carolina and Tennessee the last time, so around 2019 or so. This is probably, I don't know, $4 or so that I spent on those, plus my paper. You know, relatively inexpensive to do something like this. And thank goodness I have the Cricut, because I was trying to figure out how I was gonna make these ovals nice and even before, and I don't know if you've ever tried to draw an oval before, but okay, so drawing the oval, not so bad. Cutting the oval, pretty darn bad, or at least I'm bad at it. Circles too, so thank goodness I have the Cricut. But I'm going to get started here with some really pretty jewel tone colors. I've kind of picked out like a fall palette. I really want some fall colors and some fall weather in my life, so that's what I decided to do. I did kind of look at a couple of ideas for these flowers, but for the most part they're just completely freehand. I kind of make them up as I go. You'll see I may make a few mistakes and kind of, you know, work my way around them. One of the good things about watercolor is once you kind of figure out how they work and how to manipulate them, they're actually fairly forgiving. Other than maybe the white issue. Sometimes if you don't think enough steps ahead, white is a real issue in watercolors, but there's always a way to add them later on if you really need them back. But as you can see here, I went in with a top layer before the bottom layer was completely dry, and I kind of fumbled through it, and when I got to the bottom of this little piece of greenery, you'll see that I decide, okay, it's time to move on, let it dry a bit, and then I'll come back in. If you guys are familiar with me and my channel, you know I like to do several paintings at a time, especially when I have similar frames to put them in. I like having those options when I sell in person, and eventually when I get to selling them on Etsy, I will do the same thing so that you have the opportunity to get a similar piece to one that maybe you missed out on, you know, just moments before or whatever. I did want these to look kind of like they had been dried flowers. You know, they've lost a little bit of their vibrancy and they're muted. But I didn't want the paper to be vintagey looking, so that's why it's on stark white and why I have not decided to do a background on those. I think one of the most difficult things for me when it comes to flowers, because I find the actual flowers are easy, but arranging them is difficult. I want it to look realistic, but at the same time, I know that they don't really need to, as long as they're kind of laying in on top of each other. But I always feel like I could do better with that. So coming up in a sketchbook tour somewhat soon, you'll see that I spend quite a bit of time doing flowers just like this, trying to get a little bit better at placement for bouquets and things, which is ultimately why I looked up a few inspiration pictures before I started this, because the flowers are easy, the layout is difficult. Let me know in the comments below if you would agree. So this flower is a little difficult. As you can see, I'm trying to kind of place some petals without actually placing petals because this is the first or bottom layer. Later in, I do come in with some pen and ink, and I think that really helps define those petals, but I was initially going in on this without the plan of doing any kind of inking, but ultimately I just think it looks better. It's more my style, so I go back in and do some inking later. And here's that first piece that I did where I wanted to come back later and make this front sprig of dried greenery, you know, more pronounced in the foreground. But if you guys want to just sit back and relax and watch some really pretty botanicals, I will catch you at the end of the video. So coming up on the end here, you'll see I'm adding quite a bit of shimmer watercolor. I really haven't used any of my glitter watercolors in quite some time, and I knew this was the perfect project for it. I haven't done it in a while, mostly because a lot of my stuff I feel like doesn't really warrant it, I guess, but I just wanted these botanicals to be really, really beautiful, and I knew I was going to Mod Podge over them, so I wanted them to be extra shimmery below that layer. I think they turned out really great. I'm going to start inking them here in a minute. As you can see, this one's already done, but I was kind of testing it to see if I liked it better, and I really just did. I think it helps really define the overall image of it. Looks a lot better in my opinion, but it defines the flowers in a way that just the watercolor alone doesn't for me. And I look at other people's images like the ones I was trying to do, and they're just so beautiful when they do them, but I prefer it this way. I like to add all of my little accent marks and my little doodle drawings, and I like the carefreeness that it adds. But I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. I have a couple of videos planned next week that are some more watercolors, because I did get picked up for the October Nightmare Before Christmas event here on base that they are going to throw at the end of October, right before Halloween. I'm very excited, so I'm going to do quite a few more pieces now that I actually have some stuff coming up. And then on my birthday, which is September 17th, I also have an event at the CAC, which is where I have typically done them. They just didn't have one available for us in August. So stay tuned for lots more watercolors and some other little projects. I've got some keychains we're going to make and a few more shrinky dink things. Let me know what you guys think, and if you're looking for anything specific, I would love to have some suggestions thrown out at me. But if you would like and comment and subscribe, I would be forever grateful, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!
Thank you.